I love your background.
Thanks. That's actually this is my studio.
So pretty.
Good
I
morning,
thought so.
everybody. Yeah. Good morning, y'all. I am so excited to introduce you to Twyla Franz. I'm even more excited to finally meet her for myself. It's been a long. We've been internet collaborators and friends for gosh a couple of years, but we've never actually met or actually talked voice to voice anyway. So I'm really excited to meet Twyla. She is the author of Cultivating a Missional Life, which is really cool, and then a recently released Butterfly Living, which is exciting. She's also she has a blog series on her website called Gratitude Stories, and I've had the honor to write for that a couple of times. And if you entered the giveaway that we just did, the Simple Sparks for Your Devotional Life, she was a contributor for that. She donated a copy of Jennifer Lee Duke's book, and also all of a sudden I can't think of the name of it. Tell us what it is.
It
There you
is
go.
suffered
Perfect.
only till God. Yes, I
Yes.
love it.
And then some other great resources, and we're going to talk more about all of that at the end. So for now, we're going to hop into the questions. Twyla, the first one is, how long would you say you've had a relationship with God?
I guess the question is, can I remember how old I am? Because I do always forget that.
I do too. I have to do the math.
I'm sorry, losing my voice all of a sudden. So I think I'm 37. I do forget all the time, but I don't remember ever not having a relationship, and
Okay.
I'm super grateful that that has been my story. There's been seasons that I have had to discover it for myself, and not just rely on this is, what was taught to me
Yeah.
growing up, but it's not a story. But I do remember back, like my very earliest memories are I always knew that I could talk to God and that He was right there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm stumped by that, or not stumped by. I'm stalled by that because I love that. I didn't learn to start talking till God to be able to talk to God for myself. Gosh, I was probably in my 30s, maybe 20s, but 30s. So that's awesome. Okay, so the next question is: can you share with us either your favorite ways to spend time with God, or the ways that you most easily connect with Him?
Sure. I love talking about this because worship songs, I can't sing and I can't dance. But for some reason, worship songs connect me like instantly to God's presence, and they have for a really long time. So my very favorite way is to pick a song, and I like YouTube a lot because I really like live, like the
Yeah,
raw, real worship. I don't like
yeah,
it to be all scrubbed clean in the professional studio version. So
yeah,
I tend to find the live albums. Or I just go straight to YouTube because almost all of those are
yeah.
live, and I will turn it on repeat. And
Yep.
there's something about the repetition. I don't I just
It just
love it.
soaks
It
in.
it
Yeah,
just lets me yeah, it just lets me soak in it, and those lyrics get stuck in your head, and so
yeah,
you wake up thinking about them, like, they're always running through your head, and when they're really, really strong lyrics that point you right back into the Bible and right
yeah,
back into this is God's nature, this is his heart for you, these are the promises that he's given you. It's just always running through your head. So that is one of my very, very favorite
yeah.
ways. And right now, my kids are in school and I'm mostly home writing and working during the day. So I leave my earbuds in and I'm playing music almost all day long.
Yeah.
So that's been really huge for me. And then the other piece is kind of a more recent rediscovery, I want to say, since if I think back to my college years, I lived for a couple of years in a dorm by myself. It was on campus, but I had space and I had a very flexible schedule. So it didn't matter if I wanted to spend 2 hours in the middle of the night on my face with my Bible
Yeah.
open and the worship music playing. But life as an adult is a little different, and I got away from just those longer periods of time with God, and also just the physical posture of being on my face or being on my knees. And in the last year, I've rediscovered how essential that is, and so I put that just even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah.
into my morning routine. So I like to hang out on my knees, and God just is he's near in a different way. Like I'm more aware of how close he is.
Yeah, yeah. So, worship music, what do you have on repeat right now?
Right now, I just tossed my phone over. It is, I cannot even remember the name of the artist. I think they came out of Bethel. And I actually, this is strange for me because usually it's one song, but I do have this whole album on because I love all of them, and there's only like 5 or 6 songs that I haven't picked which one.
Yeah.
One of them is um, "Praise Before My Breakthrough." I will
Oh,
praise
yeah.
before
Praise
my
is the
breakthrough.
breakthrough.
Yes, yes. Brian and Katie. I'm
Yeah,
blanking on their last
Torwalt.
name.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes, that one. Yes.
yeah.
So that's the
Oh,
song I
yeah,
keep coming back
yeah,
to. But that whole album, I'm pretty sure that it's live. Anyways,
yeah.
it's really, really, really good.
I I'm pointing over there because in my brain, the gym I go to is right there. So so literally when I'm on the treadmill, I can look at the studio. But the reason I was thinking of that is a lot of times in the morning when I'm at the gym, I'm listening to Revelation Wellness. Have you ever heard of Revelation Wellness? It's like listening
I
to
actually haven't.
scripture, and oh, it's really good. You'll have to check it out, especially if
I
like you're going
will.
for a walk or something, because she's just pouring scripture into you while you work out. It's really good. But
Wow.
she also plays lots of different music behind it. And one day, just a few months ago, while working out, I discovered somebody that I had never listened to before with her podcast, and it's Shane and Shane. I don't know if you've ever listened to Shane and Shane, but they
I
have an
have.
album. They have an album called Psalms Live. I cannot
Yes.
the whole thing. It just and it's not only. I mean, it's obviously their skill, the way that they harmonizes, but there's just something about it. And then the fact that it's all coming from the Psalms, so you're just getting scripture poured into you. Oh, so good. So yeah, for me, that's what's on repeat these days is the Psalm Live
I have.
album. Yeah, it's so
I've
good.
listened to that one a whole
Yeah,
lot.
it's so
Also,
good.
yes, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm late to the Shane and Shane party, but it's been good. Okay, so you kind of touched on the next question. The way that your preferred or most easily ways to connect with God, has it changed over the years and through the seasons, or has it pretty much stayed the same? And like I said, you kind of touched on it, but I wanted to give you the opportunity in case you had more you wanted to share on that.
Oh, sure. I think overall it's stayed the same, but it has looked different for different seasons. Like I was mentioning that getting married, having kids, having a full-time job and a less flexible schedule than being a grad school student, it did change the amount of time, and I did have to figure out how to put this rhythm back into my day.
Yeah,
So worship music has always been something that really connects me, but I haven't always been so intentional about turning it on. So that's something I've come back to. Journaling has also been really, really big.
yeah,
I used to journal online more than writing in paper. I had a Zanga site and I would just write out like prayer poem. Like it
hmm,
was just kind of this like loose thing, and we would use brackets and different size fonts and everything, like make
yeah,
it really creative. But it was kind of accountability too that I was regularly sewing into that relationship, and it
yeah,
was not seen by very many people, but it was for me,
yeah,
it was I'm talking to God, I'm just like leaving it all out there. Um and now I keep just a regular journal, just a lined journal. A few years ago, I read Ann Boskamp's book, 1000 Gifts, and I know
yes,
that has influenced so many people and so many people who have
yes.
written for this series. And that's actually where that gratitude series came out
Oh,
of.
okay, yeah,
Was that I was like, I need this. I need to start writing a list. And so I started, gosh, it was 3 or 4 years ago now, because it was before we started the gratitude series. And I just keep numbering them. Sometimes I probably lose count, so this may not be entirely accurate, but I'm up in the 7,000s
wow,
now in my list, and it goes over several journals. And so that is part of um, my morning
yeah,
practice also. I really like, as much as I can, to put it first rather
yeah,
than at the end of the day, and to thank him first, even
yeah,
if I don't know what the day is going to bring, and that changes something in me. But that's been a big
yeah,
piece. And sometimes I just free write prayers or what, just anything that comes to
yeah,
mind in that journal. But stuff I'd only tell God has recently been really key also. So
yeah,
that's why I put it in the giveaway, because it
yeah,
is, so all these prompts that you would not think, to have these very specific conversations with God.
Yeah.
And it just invites you into it. And it's really, really, really cool what
Oh,
happens.
it's so good. So good. All right. Well,
Oh, sorry.
tell us. No, go
One
ahead.
very last,
Yeah.
one very last quick thing. I have my stack of books here. So I love also reading in a translation that is not as familiar to me. And
Yeah.
the Passion Translation for
Oh,
the past couple years has been that it's
no.
very poetic and it's like the heart language. It's translated from Aramaic,
Yes.
a lot of Aramaic, and those verses hit me in such a fresh way.
Me
But
too.
then, beginning of the year, I decided to try Mary DeMoose 90-day Bible reading challenge.
Okay.
So I'm reading a different version, The Voice, which I haven't
Yeah.
read in its entirety. So I'm really, really, really loving this fast. Mary
Yeah.
calls it a rapid read through the Bible, and it does hit you in a different way. How
Yeah.
everything is connected, and you
Oh,
learn.
yeah.
I don't know. It just really has been a cool
Yeah, it
experience.
does. It does. It's a huge thing. I'm looking around because I'm looking for my Passion Translation. It's actually my caddy at home instead of here in the studio. But yeah, it's I feel about it a lot like I feel about a cello. I love the cello. I feel like the cello speaks the frequency of my heart, and I feel
Mm.
like the Passion Translation, it speaks the same language that my heart speaks. So yeah, it kind of gives voice to what my heart says. So it's really, I love that translation. So yeah. Okay, yeah, that was good. All right, so now tell us a little about you, about your work, your writing, and your resources that are available.
Sure. Well, I write over at the Uncommon Normal for now. I'm actually in the middle of changing it over to my name. So very shortly it will be twylafranz.com. On Facebook and Instagram, I'm Twyla Franz author. And I write mostly to help people get close to Jesus and then also at the same time build deep relationships with their literal neighbors. So it's kind of this bringing together of two very important relationships. And I find that our faith naturally has a ripple effect when
Hmm.
we are investing in a relationship with God and we're being intentional about letting people who are close to us actually get to know us. That
Yeah,
instead of it being something that we're overthinking or we're trying to be preachy or pushy or any way, it just kind of blends into our everyday conversations, our rhythms of daily life. And so that's what I'm all about. Um, Again, the uncommon normal, or if you go just to twylafranz.com, it will redirect you. And shortly that will be the name of the URL as well.
yeah, yeah.
But
Awesome.
I have a library of free resources, a bunch of resources to help you get started on what I call missional living, which
Hmm.
is just this lifestyle of integrating these are the people in my life. This is my faith, and instead of it being separate, it is just all blended together.
Yeah.
So you can grab any of my free resources, and you get access to a whole library of things that I've created for you.
And this is January. A lot of people right now are thinking about their word of the year. So tell them about that resource.
Oh, sure. I actually have two resources in the library. One is a list of 200 word ideas because I know you can sometimes just get stumped
Uh
on,
huh.
I don't know a word, I don't know where to start. So they're alphabetized. You can read through it, pray through it. And if you get stuck, my best advice is just to pick a word because God can
Hmm.
use any of those words
That's
to
right.
grow you. So if you have one that really sits and resonates, then go with it.
Yeah.
If you don't have one in particular, don't give up on it. Just pick
Yeah.
one, and if God changes that word at some point, that's okay too. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be set in stone. But so there's a list of 200 word ideas. And then I really wanted there to be something that kind of helps us get in a rhythm of leaning hard into that word and not just
Hmm.
picking it and forgetting about it. So there is a monthly reflection sheet, just 6 questions that you can ask yourself at the end of every month to help you continue that growth.
Oh, that's so good. I think I remember seeing that now. I need to go get that. And yeah,
We're
you
almost at the
mentioned
end of the
about,
month.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
I need
I'm
to go grab
excited to
that.
use those questions.
Yeah, that'll be really good. Yeah. You mentioned about